Hi, folks. Welcome to the first ever edition of a season preview here coming to you on a podcast. I am the Sports Information Director, Danny Cross, at George Fox University. And today we have our head coach for our baseball program, Marty Hunter.
Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Marty. Today we're going to talk about your 2019 baseball season. Before we get into 2019, let's talk about the past. Last year, you had one of the hottest starts in February in the program's date. You led the NCAA in hits, doubles, runs scored, and you were 8th in batting average through February. You had 2 athletes named to D3 Baseball Team of the Week. You had 6 All-Northwest Conference athletes, and Matt Volsky was a 2-time D3Baseball.com All-West Region selection. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on 2018 and your thoughts on what that season looked like, the ups, the downs, the roller coaster? What was your progression in that season?
Oh, we had a team that was a little bit inexperienced as far as number of games and that type of thing. And so, getting off to a good start was important, and we had stressed that. And, when you hit the middle of the season, we struggled a bit. And, what happens sometimes is bats will go quiet, guys won't hit, and it's baseball. The unfortunate thing for us is we had a whole lineup that went quiet.
Right.
And it's, and it's one of those things, and you have to fight your way through it and battle. And, a pitching staff has to continue to fight and battle. So, we went through a 3-week stretch there where, we're scuffling a little bit. The positive is it turned around and we played better again at the end. So there's a little bit of a roller coaster in that. And, we put ourselves in position to possibly advance into the tournament. So, in that regard, it was a positive as far as the ending piece.
Right. Yeah, and so a little bit about the 2018 season. The team started 12-3 in February. They swept Pacific to start March. And then, as Marty said, they fell in 4 straight series, needing to sweep Puget Sound to earn that 4th seed in the conference tournament, which they did, and they were 1 game away from making the NCAA postseason. Last year, you had 7 home games to start the season in February. This year, you have none. Your schedule is packed with some road games in Arizona, and then you're headed to Georgia right after that. What's that look like with the team having to battle some adversity early with no home games?
Yeah, I think in the long run it'll be good for us because we will have to, battle a little bit and have some adversity. The other thing is we have more experienced kids that's playing. They've been through this. And so we should be able to handle it. And so we're looking forward to the trips. We're playing good teams. It's going to challenge us. It'll prepare us for the conference season because that's going to be difficult. So it's one of those situations where we have a core group of kids who've played, and now it's a matter of continuing kind of how we left off last year.
Right. And with that core group, you return 11 players who were in that lineup for that final game against Willamette in the conference tournament. And among those, you have 8 seniors, 11 juniors, 10 sophomores, and you brought in 8 freshmen. Within that, you have a lot of depth and also a lot of experience. What's that look like for you guys in 2019?
The core group of guys that will be more our frontline guys, they have experience. And so that's a positive. A bunch of those guys are returning. And we just hope to maintain where we were on the offensive end, because overall we were decent offensively last year.
Right.
We averaged almost 7 runs a game, and that's a pretty good number. And so
absolutely.
With those guys being back and having another year experience, the plan is hopefully that maintains and maybe it gets a little better. We need to improve on the pitching side as far as the number of guys that can contribute and try not to rely on 1 or 2 arms. And through the fall and our practices so far, it's shaping up that way, which is a positive. So the players have worked real hard and they're developing, we're improving. And so that piece of having a pitching staff that is not just going to rely on one or two people, it's going to be multiple people that are going to contribute, and they're doing a really good job of that so far.
Great. Now with that, you've touched on improvements. Now with expectations and goals, what have you laid the line down for the team for 2019?
Well, this is coming from them, not necessarily the coaching staff, because everybody's disappointed how it ended last year, where we put ourselves in position to advance to a regional tournament and we fell short. Because you have so many of those kids coming back, this is a big motivator for them.
Yeah.
And they, if you want to say they have a chip on their shoulder, they're not happy about it. All those are happening, and they're working extremely hard right now to kind of make amends on that. And it's big motivation for them right now. And practices so far have been very business-like. They've had a good approach to things. They've worked hard in the off season, and so their goal is to try and finish off where we got to.
Right.
And so we'll see.
Yeah. Now, outside of that, the stadium this year looks different. Grandstands have just been put in. Press box is going to be put in. What's that do for the team when they look at that facility and the program in general and how far it's come along in the last decade?
Oh, I mean, obviously it's very nice because you walk in and it has a stadium feel to it because those bleachers wrap around from dugout to dugout. It encloses things. They're elevated. And so, you have a sense of a true stadium.
Yeah.
And it's very nice. And, when everything gets completed in this next few weeks, it's going to be a very nice setup.
Right. And with that, the home field advantage this year, you're taking on Puget Sound, Linfield, Whitman, and Willamette, all at home this year for the conference series. Tough 4 teams. As any series, we've always talked about you have different game plans and different sets for those. But with those 4 and the new home field, what kind of does that look like for the team?
We're the key for us is to take all of these games we're going to play and just one weekend at a time and not get ahead of ourselves. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to make amends for the previous season and do better. You can't get ahead of yourself. Right. So we've had to talk about that a little bit. Yeah. And so we're going to try to be our best version every single weekend. Right. And the thing about our conference is it's an extremely competitive conference. Mm-hmm. And the worst team in our conference can beat the best team in our conference. And if you don't show up and you don't play well, you're going to get beat. Yeah. And so it's one of those situations where consistency is important. And, and that has to happen. And that's where I think we've made growth.
Right. And with growth, talking about the team, dissecting it and looking at it individually for your classes, I know that there is a ton of experience on each side, from the upperclassmen to the underclassmen. With your senior class and your junior class, what players are you excited for to watch this year with their growth? And same thing for the underclassmen.
As we mentioned before, there's a core group back, and a lot of these guys have played. So you mentioned Matt Volsky, who, has been our shortstop the past few years. He also is our closer at the end of games. Jared Siemens played third base. Sam Swenson at first base. Kyler Bredwick in the outfield. They played a lot of time last year. Yeah. We have some newcomers that have come in. Trevor Nanini and Jason Garcia have come in, who are junior college transfers. We expect them to be main contributors as we move forward. Chris Stone is a pitcher that we brought in, a junior college guy who we expect to get into the mix of our staff there. and then those underclassmen, there's some players that have contributed in the past, and now it's their turn to have more of a prominent role. Derek Johnson would be a great example of that in the outfield. Colby Watillo catching. Those guys are in position to where it's a more prominent role, main contributor, and no one has to feel that they have to carry the team. And that's what's nice about this team is I don't think anybody has to do that. We have enough guys that can each carry a load, and and again, it comes down to consistency with them all.
Great. In the final words here, you have anything you'd like to express to the fans, the alumni, anyone that's going to come out and watch the baseball team this year, follow along? Do you have anything you'd like to say to them?
Oh shoot, we're going to be a fun team to watch. Our guys play hard, and they'll play with enthusiasm. Hopefully, we're going to put a great product out on the field. I think they're going to do that. But we're enjoyable to watch by how we play the game, because the kids will hustle on and off the field. We're going to play with energy, and there's athletes out there where you're going to see some very good defensive plays that are athletic. And so we're excited about it, and it's a fun team to watch.
Great. Well, fans, the baseball team is on the road in February. They start in Arizona, then they'll head to Georgia, and then they'll head up to Washington to start conference against Pacific Lutheran. But make sure you come and stop by the new baseball stadium March 2nd through 3rd when they host Puget Sound. Thanks so much, Coach Hunter, for stopping by and giving us some insight to the team this year.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.